note that we're
Yeah.
live.
We're live, son.
We are live. And Blue Sky to the 8 people who, the Blue Sky has this is free bonus content
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Blue Sky has a too many people who are upset about the world problem sometimes. I've talked to multiple people who like Blue Sky, but they're like, I get so incredibly bummed out every time I'm on there because everything is so depressing.
Okay.
There's just very few people who are like kind of having fun like on the space.
Okay. It's like too
Um,
realistic point of
yeah,
view.
it becomes like a place where people vent, and
Hmm.
so it's a little tricky. I mean, Twitter is I don't even know what's going on there. Every time I log in now, I see stuff that feels
Where
honestly
do people
psychotic.
go to have a good time? Like, even in the real world, I'm struggling to think of. I guess the bar still is like the great equalizer in terms of
Yeah,
vibes.
exactly. Yeah, the bar, the coffee shop, whatever, like in person, this podcast accepting, of course, because we are live streaming this thing. So let's do a clean start here. Hail cheaters. Welcome to the Always Stream podcast. My name is Josh. I'm here with Brandon. Brandon, we are not even 9/10. I guess there are 2 matches that didn't get played this weekend, right? So we're 7/8 of the way
I think
through.
it's just Forest Brentford to go, isn't it?
Yeah, so 7/8 of the way to go. Right?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
close enough.
Yeah.
Let's close it
Close
up.
enough. Yeah, let's close up
Stop the
shop.
count.
Well, that game is on Thursday. I mean, it's crazy late in the week.
Yeah,
I think it's because they wanted time in between the FA Cup final and
fair enough.
yeah. Although in the end, I mean, yeah, Man City. Like, I guess for Liverpool's sake, it's a good thing they sort of
Yeah.
um, came on late this season because I know I was actually I would say going into this weekend I was arguably more excited for the FA Cup matches than I was for the like the Premier League. I thought these matches could both be really good. I wasn't sure who was
Hmm.
going to win either one, and they ended up being kind of one-sided. And I actually thought we ended up with some pretty interesting Premier League stuff, and
Hmm.
even Liverpool. Yeah, I think you kind of correctly called it. You thought it was going to be very one-sided. And it really turned out to be, but that match was actually kind of fun in a way, just because it was. I don't know. It was like they were just like they were sort of playing the kind of joyous
Hmm.
football that won
Yeah.
them the title, and it was like they were like a pot. This is not like a Jose Mourinho win every match 1-0 squad,
Right.
right? It was like
Yeah.
they won the Premier League because they had a bunch of matches like this season where they would just
Yeah.
beat a mediocre team 5-1, right? It was yeah.
Yeah. And neither of us are Liverpool supporters, so and I guess we're neutral as far as Liverpool is concerned. And I think from a neutral point of view, it's hard to not get sucked into this squad. And I think if you take the Klopp to Slot narrative out of it, just the players on the pitch,
Hmm.
watching that match against Spurs, undeniable how beloved so many of these players are, and particularly like watching Van Dyke after like all the scenes
Is it
after the final whistle.
Virgil van Dijk?
Virgil van
Hmm.
Dyke, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, he's straight out of the 7 levels of hell into
Virgil's
Anfield.
yeah, his name should be Virgil's Van Dyke.
But you're just like legends, like Van Dyke, Salah, Andy Robertson, Trent, and then you see like McAllister is like the new vanguard of this Liverpool team, and the commentary of like what's next for Liverpool, what more they
Yeah.
can they achieve, and the squad kind of has it all. And I was like, explaining it to like the ultimate neutral, my wife, and I was like, well, this is kind of interesting because Liverpool are synonymous with supporter culture. I mean, like
Yeah.
that's unfair to say for virtually every team around the world, but
Yeah.
I think Liverpool, like in popular understanding, are synonymous with
Yeah.
fan culture,
You
which
know,
is why the commentary always goes dead silent when you
yeah.
sing Never Walk Alone.
It's interesting. You and I are really the two test cases in the impossibility of making your spouse a fan of a sport that you are a big fan of, because I similarly my wife is not she's not a hater by any means, and she'll
Mhm.
watch the Premier League, and she likes saying things like Harry Kane, he scores when he wants or whatever. But in
Mm.
general, not a fan, not
Harry Kane,
interested.
by the way, who got a yellow card this weekend, meaning he will not be able to play. He's suspended for the match in which Bayern Munich will win the
I
trophy.
didn't see that. That's so on
The
brand. That's
curse of
incredible.
Spurs is wide ranging.
That's wild. He should like not even played in that match to avoid that happening. Like they're gonna win it at a trot, right? Um, yeah, but in general, like even today when Salah scored, I guess it was the fourth goal
Mhm.
for Liverpool. I was like, you gotta watch this, and I was like, tried to like get her to, and she was like, oh, like she was sufficiently impressed, I guess, but it
It's
was
a little
like,
bit like watching Leonardo DiCaprio win the Academy Award. You're like, Salah was going to score in this match,
yeah.
but it's beautiful and deserved
It it
nonetheless.
was a nice goal. You kind of thought he was gonna score the second he got the ball, right? It was the kind
Yeah,
of goal you were like, okay, this is the goal.
yeah,
It's finally gonna happen. So yeah, Cody Gakpo, it was like they were trying to get him goals. Like Cody Gakpo like had an open net and he
yeah.
passed it to Salah just to see if he could score that match.
Yeah, yeah. But so fair play to Liverpool. And I was so caught up in the vibes of that match that it actually bringing it back around to the FA Cup, I completely forgot that Forest Man City match was happening.
Yeah, that was some unfortunate counter programming there. The Liverpool win the title while a much I mean, listen, there have been times when Man City have been a lot of fun to watch, right?
Yeah.
It has not been this season. And I guess if you're a Forest supporter, but like it was like, Rico Lewis scored in the second minute of that
No
game. It
one's
was like,
tuning in for that now.
yeah, it was like, well, I mean, it already felt like it was
The
kind of an
stars
uphill
are out.
battle.
The
Yeah.
stars are out at Wembley.
Yeah.
Rico Lewis.
It's wild that even in Pep's like worst season as at Man City, they have still done what they've done like every year in the Premier League, which is they reach a stretch right around game week 30 where no team will score on them again. It's just like this
Mhm.
crazy. I mean, I know Villa scored it, but it just in general, it's like it's like it's amazing how much they
Yeah.
figure things out defensively every single season.
So
It's really
speaking
impressive.
of clean sheet for Guardiol, goal
Hmm.
for Guardiol in the FA Cup semifinal. I think we're here to basically talk about the final four game weeks of the FPL season, which
Yeah,
amount to the home stretch. Like, I feel like there are going to be a handful of managers out there still with some chips to play, but
yeah.
where we are right now is we're out of chip season in a sense, and it's now just sort of like, as you're fond of saying, Josh, brass tacks.
We are down to brass. We've taken the furniture has been
Stripped bare.
unupholstered, stripped
Yeah.
bare. Yeah, we're down to those brass tacks. So what is still to come this week? Well, a few things. Arsenal PSG play on Tuesday. And then on Thursday, we've got Man United playing Bilbao. And then Spurs play Bodo / Glimt. I wonder if
About a
they
glimpse.
I wonder if they sometimes change those around. And say do
Yeah,
Glimt
it's like
Bodo, Yeah.
Antigua and Barbuda.
Yeah. It's like, but they never do St. Paul / Minneapolis, do they? I guess that's just not a thing.
One day
Yeah.
it's going to be St. Paul's Day. I know it.
Yeah.
But
I know,
if I'm
Porter's,
mayor, if I'm ever mayor of
I know.
St. Minneapolis, St. Paul,
St. Paul gets no shine, right?
come
It's a
on,
crazy. They're supposed to be the Twin Cities, but
yeah.
the only
There's no
city anyone talks
chapter in
about
the
is
Bible
Minneapolis.
called Minneapolis.
I know, and yet Minneapolis gets all. Yeah, that's true. Actually,
It
yeah,
ain't
there's a whole
right.
saint named after the city. I hadn't even thought about that. And then Chelsea also play Djurgården. I've never heard of Djurgården ever. By the way, this is a semifinal, a European
I
semifinal, and
believe
it's
it
a
was
team
an
I.
operation featured in Band of Brothers at
Yeah,
some point.
Yeah, it was one of the great losses, right, in the Netherlands. Um, yeah, it's and then Forest Brentford also play on Thursdays. Thursday's a big day,
Yeah.
a big day. There's a lot going on, and so, but I actually think in some ways that's less important than the scheduled fixtures for the double game weeks, right? And so
Yeah.
because Man City and Palace are in, or Man City and Palace are in the final. Gosh, by the way, that Palace, like, are you
Yeah.
immediately remembering when Alan Pardew was the Palace
And he
manager and
wore
they
that
made,
incredible corsage to the
yeah,
final,
and he did
and he
that
was dancing.
the shimmer, ugh,
What a
like
colossal
it was
idiot.
really the end of his career, I think. If they won that game, the whole arc of his career might be
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
funny. I was thinking about him because I put Alan Pardew's managerial career was longer and more successful than Tim Sherwood's. But I
Yeah.
was watching Premier League, like the match day live show,
Yeah.
and Tim Sherwood was on there, just looking horrible. Like
Really.
his face is so wrinkled, and
Really?
he
It's
looks
gone like
weathered.
a full Rooney.
Eh,
Interesting. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like he's probably weathered more from too many vacations in Spain as opposed
Mm.
to just like too many
So it's
six
more,
packs.
yeah, so it's more leathery than fleshy.
It's quite
Yeah.
leathery, but he
Yeah.
was this is there's no segue to make here. Like, for Tim Sherwood was making some very excellent withering points about
Yeah.
Ipswich Town,
Yeah.
which we can save for another
Yeah.
podcast.
Something I
But
like about Russell Crowe, by the way, he's both leathery and fleshy. It's a rare thing, you
yeah,
know?
he's a two
Yeah.
for one.
Yeah. You don't get that too often.
Yeah, wait, sorry. Okay, what were we talking about?
Alan Pardew. Oh, so
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
we're talking
right.
about so Palace and Man City are in the final, which means that their fixtures for game
Mm,
week 37 will need to get or that would have taken place in game week 37 will need to
yeah,
get rescheduled. So,
yeah.
so what's going to happen is actually TBD. Unfortunately, as of this recording, we don't know when those matches are going to get rescheduled. So,
But
you know,
potentially it could be settled before the game week 35 deadline,
it
though.
seems very likely.
Yeah.
Yes, it seems very likely. There are some other factors that complicate things a little bit. You have uh, there's like a man. Was it Man United have like requested that they move their date with Aston Villa as well
I think
because of
Spurs were
European
the
stuff.
ones that were putting up some sort of
Or Spurs,
yeah,
right, right, and Villa were
fight.
pushing back on that. So
Yeah.
it's really hard. Like there's some fixture changes to come, basically, and so we'll see. Man United are actually, yeah, that one already got done. They're actually going to play on a Friday, I think, to get around that. So, so there's a lot to come, and so basically, I don't really want to speculate on it too much because by the time we do our Patreon pod on Thursday, we'll hopefully have more clarity. And so my thought right now is I'm just going to kind of hold my transfers.
Yeah.
But I guess the reason I'm bringing all this up is you have a Premier League fixture, you have four Premier League teams playing right over the next, not even counting
In
the Premier League
Europe, yeah.
fixture. Yeah, four in Europe. So you have six Premier League teams that play before the next deadline. So I would be cautious of making
Yeah.
any moves early, basically.
Very much so. I guess there are no injuries to speak of coming out of the weekend FA Cup or Premier League, but you just never know when that shit will drop. And
Yeah.
you have four game week deadlines to go, meaning you have four more free transfers, bar whatever you have banked
Yep.
to play. I think and I think what we should kind of touch upon in this episode, Josh, is what are the strategies for holding your ground or catching up in your mini league,
Yep.
and playing your free transfers as strategically as you can is a big part of that. So I'm with you in terms of like waiting till up to the deadline for game week 35 to see like what squad news we have from those European matches and any fixture rearranging that could have impact blanks and doubles.
Yeah, I think we can talk about that in a second here, because I think I think factoring in these years, like I actually think it's there's like a lot of stuff to think through, but it's like kind of classic. It's just like to me, this is just it's like part of the game. Like I don't. It's the kind of thinking I don't mind doing, right? Where it's like, okay, let's like try to like strategize this a little bit, right? Like I think a big factor will be how the European teams do over the next couple of days,
Hmm.
right? Like
Hmm.
if all four of the teams that are in Europe win their first leg or it's close, right? That will really change their strategy going into this weekend, for example, right? And that offers an opportunity for player like for teams you might want to target. It also maybe like there might be like a transfer you were thinking about making that you just want to avoid now, right? As a result of that,
Hmm.
that's before even taking the double game weeks that we can still have a couple of. So
Hmm.
and it won't be a huge double. It's not going to like ruin
Yeah.
your team planning. Although I will say I got rid of all of my Palace players, and now I kind of well the thing is it actually worked out in
You're
the end.
fine.
I'm yeah
You don't
I
want
yeah
them. I don't think you
yeah
do. They will be so laser focused on that final.
yeah
And what Glasner has shown is that he's
yeah
very happy to rotate in
yeah
favor of these. You saw so much rotation with Mateta.
us. Us
Mhm.
SAR owners, though, Brandon. I mean, for him to
He had
finally
such
get
an
the brace.
incredible game against Villa, just
I know.
a powerhouse.
Was he
He had a
playing possum for
Salah-esque game.
several weeks in the Premier League, and then suddenly he strikes? It's very irritating.
Yeah,
But good for him. And I actually really the turnaround for this Palace team is actually a low key one of the better stories, I would say, for the second half of the season. Right? It's sort of just sort of I don't know. Like I guess it started to get more attention other than the FA Cup final, but they've been quite good basically for
yeah,
4 months now, and
yeah.
they're a fun team. They're easy to root for, front to back. Right? It's a pretty interesting squad. They sort of
Is this what we're gonna
yeah
expect from Crystal Palace going forward under Glasner? Because, the Glasner came in midway through last season, but Palace were a late season charge last
yeah
season, and here they are
it's,
again.
yeah.
It's
It's
just
hard to
players.
say, right?
Mhm, mhm.
Because we didn't. We thought that going into last season, right? I mean, or this season, we
We
thought like the
did, and
first,
then what's the
yeah,
squad look like? Like, Eze looked like he was
yep,
kinda sleepwalking
yeah,
through. He's kinda emblematic of Palace in his own way.
yeah,
He is, his stock is as high as it's ever been. Like, he's really finishing the season
yep,
strong. I wonder if he's at Palace next season. It's the
yeah.
Zaha effect.
Isn't it weird, by the way, that I didn't like Zaha disappearing without like
Hmm.
just so quietly? It's still
Mhm.
strange to me. Like, I felt like he had such a presence in the Premier League with
The Where is he
Palace
gonna
for
go in
like, yeah,
England to, "I'm going to Turkey," and then suddenly, boom, I'm in Major League Soccer.
yeah.
Not a great
Playing
trajectory.
for Charlotte. Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm not 100% sure I knew that Charlotte had an MLS team until this
And
moment.
yet.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I just had to wiki him to see where he was
Uh-huh.
right now.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, anyway, so more to come. But again, if you, the problem is I don't want to speculate on the double game weeks because it's all going to be outdated by the time this podcast goes live, right? For people
Yeah.
who aren't listening to the stream. And so, you'll be able to find that content elsewhere. The point is, hold your transfers. Basically, there's
Mhm.
plenty of other things to talk through. So I just thought quickly though I would share my team with you. I had a tricky week because I did have a free hit, and so I had to think about kind of where I wanted to go with my transfers. I would say so far I'm 2 for 2. Put a little asterisk on that because I could have gone for 8 Nori over Kukurea. But again, if Jamie Vardy scores his
Mhm.
pen, then
Big
I'm
swing.
feeling better about that. Yeah, exactly. So, but whatever, right? And this is but I really especially because I had to burn 4. I had 2 frees and I used an extra one, and so I turned a 0 from a defender into effectively 2 for Cucurella, right? But hey,
Mhm.
every 2 points counts,
Yeah.
right?
It does.
They can really add up. And then I brought in Cunha, which worked out great. And then I have Mbomo as well. And Mbomo is I mean, we'll see what he does in the Forest match. I actually think there's a chance he could do something just because Forest have been struggling a
Mhm.
bit, and he's been in great form. But I also just kind of want him for the stretch too. There's a couple
Mhm.
really good matches
Yeah.
upcoming.
Yep.
I'm actually not secretly, I'm telling you right now, but I'm considering captaining him for
Okay.
game week
Wow.
35. I think the captaincy is super wide open in 35,
Uh-huh.
and I mean you have kind of post title Liverpool away to Chelsea, like. I mean, sure, like maybe the pressure's off Salah now, but I don't think he's like an automatic awesome pick, right? I think it's pretty open in terms of where you want to go with the captaincy this week. But
Mhm.
let's put a pin in that for now. So Kukurea Hoyson, I mean, incredibly irritating clean sheet loss there, right at the death. He already had yellow card anyway, but still, yeah, Evan Nilsson read a lot happened in that Man United Bournemouth game, Brandon. Semenyo goal.
It did. Yeah, like the Seme I so on my free hit, I brought in Semenyo and Evan Nielsen, and
Hmm.
that was the peak of my powers there, was the
Yeah.
Evan Nielsen to Semenyo goal,
Yep.
and then then it all started sort of just, like, slowly draining away,
Hmm.
but Evan Nielsen, like, there's no reason for him to go to ground. He slipped a little bit, which is what led to his studs on the ankle. And so you could say, a bit harsh with the slip, but there's no reason he should be going to ground, like at the halfway line. Like a
Yep.
bad challenge,
Yeah.
deserved red. Goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so um like
You're
we
much
can
more
talk.
Republican about this stuff in general. I tend to be a little softer, like I didn't really mean
I'm
it.
very
It's yeah.
if it were up to me, we'd replace all the referees with Judge Dredd. And
Yeah, exactly.
I think that'd be
Yeah,
wonderful. You got
yeah,
maybe like Judge Dredd as linesman and
yeah,
RoboCop in the center of the field.
yeah, yeah.
To
Which
me,
RoboCop? Joel Kinnaman RoboCop or
actually, not even RoboCop, but like the robot who just like the big like emotionless robot who just machine guns everybody to death.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The T2
yeah,
with
let's
yeah, yeah.
let's get let's or yeah,
Or
get
the
Terminators.
or I guess I was thinking the Terminator without its like or the chrome one at the beginning of T2, the
The
like
liquid metal one or the
no,
rope.
no, just mean like the one in the begin like the opening
Gotcha.
scene when
I
he
understand. Yeah,
stomps on the
the metal
skull,
one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Why are they holding guns? The beginning of that movie, honestly, when you watch it
Yeah.
again, you're like, you just like,
What is this?
yeah, you're like, because I was just watching it with my kid, and I was like,
Yeah.
it is cool, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Also, like why would they? It's like they were able to send one person back, and we were too, and it was like at this, or are they like in the
Yeah.
same place? Like,
It's
how
an
do they
arms race.
know?
It's an arms
But
race.
how do they know to do it at the same place, the same time, the same
It's
minute?
kind of convenient, isn't it?
It is kind of convenient. Where they like it's like they had some rule that like you've got to send a
Yeah.
robot on a human back. Like it's kind of confusing.
Totally. I
Yeah.
don't remember where I was going with that ramble, but anyway, yeah,
Oh, the red card
the
on
red card,
Nelson.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but like we could talk about my free hit in a moment, but like
yeah,
rounding off your team here. I mean, I feel
yeah.
like honestly on a -4 to finish to be on 74 minus a transfer hit
Right.
with them Bowman to go,
And, oh, and
you must feel good.
and Nico Williams.
And Nico Williams, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So
You must be feeling. I mean, I feel like you've escaped, and it was
yeah,
a crazy weekend for free hitters.
yep,
Like
yep.
the
Swingy.
combinations
Yeah,
of winning that I have seen has
yep.
been. I have not seen many losers out there.
No, that's true, and it's interesting because yeah, it was a good week for people who who like I'm not even necessarily the world's greatest advanced planner when it comes to fantasy, but certainly just because of the podcast and stuff, I had been thinking a lot about this blank and what to do, and so I think, but I think the nice thing for those of us like kind of people who are listening to this podcast, we were doing a little bit of advanced planning. So I think there were some people who just got caught short, right, and they
Hmm.
were just like, oh God. There's only six fixtures, or I mean, there's only I only have six players, or
Hmm.
I don't know quite. Do I field nine players? Do I take a minus 16? Like, and so that
Yeah.
there was a lot of that. So so it was like it wasn't. Sometimes when everybody has a good week, you don't feel your rank rise a little bit. But I
Hmm.
think because there was enough of that out there, it was like I even with the -4, even with the two players still to play, which sort of artificially depresses my rank for a couple of days. I'm still on a green arrow as well, and so yeah, so a good week. And how about you? Like you sort of settled in on your free hit team, right?
Yeah, I'll share my free hit team on the screen right now, and I it's always looking at your neighbor and seeing what your neighbor has, and the number of combinations in which I saw Sar plus Sessegnon plus 8 Nuri plus Trippier uh, plus somebody just like
Yeah,
insane number of points. So it was
yeah,
always like the has and have nots, and I
sure.
felt like I cannot feel shortchanged because every single player on my free hit to a man has gotten a return except for some guys on my bench. And
Right.
I did bench Jared Bowen, and the toss up in my free hit was Bowen or a Newcastle mid, and I ended up starting Jacob Murphy,
Right.
and it seemed like that was kind of the right call. And I think Bowen had a very good
Because
game.
he was ultimately the highest performing mid, I think, right? For
Jacob
Newcastle.
Murphy was like De Bruyne in that in that Ipswich match. He was
Yeah.
serving balls up on a plate for his teammates. He could have had like a million assists.
Yeah.
He had an incredible game, and it was just very fortunate for fantasy owners that he got a makeup call for where
Yeah.
Dan Burn should have got a penalty
Yeah. I
call.
guess yeah, Trippier might have been the only like the only like lost opportunity
Yeah,
maybe,
so I
but
think that's what
whatever.
I
Yeah.
got wrong looking at the free hit was I thought that there were so many good picks that I was willing to look past attacking potential for Newcastle defenders.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
went for Nick Pope in goal. Jose saw, like you pointed to the Vardy penalty, like that's a huge sliding door moment for free hits. But like I'm ecstatic. I'm on 82 points right now with Mbomo to go.
Yeah.
And even Evan Nielsen finishes on 2 points with a red card. And it's sort of like, sure,
Could be
whatever. Like
worse. Yeah.
it could
And so
be a
you're
lot
like
worse.
right on the cusp of the top 100K now, right?
Yeah, so my rank right now is 105K, and if I always called him Obama, if Mbomo gets an attacking return, I could be in there.
Yeah.
But I think now is I think kind of where I'm at with the FPL season is it's all fun and games when it's chip season and there's a lot of potential. And now I have played my final chip in game week 34.
Yeah.
And now it is all down to transfer decisions
Right.
into
Right.
how I get into slash stay in the top 100K. And it feels like forever to go. 4 game weeks is still a lot of time. And I
Yeah.
think that's positive for people who are looking to make up some ground in their mini
It's
league.
true.
And it's a little daunting for people who are trying
Oh,
to
it's coming up.
sort of like,
Yeah.
steel themselves.
You'll be in New York in a month.
I
That's coming
will,
up
yeah.
too. Yeah.
I'll be at the Black Horse with you, game week 38. And listen, 10 years of the podcast. If you want to come celebrate 10 years strong
Yeah.
with Always Cheating, and you're going to be in the New York area, come do Championship Sunday, game week 38 at the Black Horse with us. That'll be a treat.
That will be. It'll be nice to do that, uh to say our, whatever we end up saying there, Brandon.
We're getting
So
married.
yeah, exactly. So if you yeah, just it's the end of the season, so if you want to support the podcast, I realize that we literally have 4 weeks to go, but I've got Patreon information in my copy here, Brandon. So darn it all, I'm going to read it. But we will do an extra podcast for our Patreon supporters on Thursday. Hopefully, we'll have some information to share about the double game weeks. And yeah, you can go to patreon.com/always cheating. And hopefully, this podcast has been helpful for our Patreon supporters this year. And yeah, it's been fun actually. We were talking about this, but the community team run by our Patreon supporters is on an incredible run. Have you
So
seen how it's
good.
done so far this week?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we
they're
should take a
the community team for Always Cheating, which has been run by our great friend Francis Mann all season, it's on a free hit, and it was kind of let's see, let me pull it up here.
yeah, average looks like. Yeah, I'm seeing
Yeah,
70.
70 points. Leno in goal went for the least of the points with Newcastle defense with Livermento, Van Dyke. I mean, I like a
Yeah.
lot of these like this feels like sort of a really sturdy free hit.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
Chris Wood, pseudo
yeah,
differential,
could
so
do the
yeah,
biz.
got
Captain Isaac, that was a good swing for a
mm-hmm.
differential. And Salah, he got a bonus. Like I don't know how he caught up with Sabazlai at the
Yeah,
end
I don't
there.
know. Did he create a chance? Completed passes or something. He rarely gets
Oh, I
those.
have a
But
grievance.
yeah, yeah.
If
Let's
you
hear it.
allow me.
Yeah,
Bruno Fernandes. I'm playing up against at least one head-to-head opponent who has
mm-hmm.
Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah. It was two
And
bonus.
two
Yeah,
bonus
yeah.
for just like hot air being expelled from his mouth. Like, I
I
don't
know.
understand. I didn't
I
think he had a
know.
very good game. Lots of missed chances, fluffed, and shots. And I don't know how he does it. The guy's just very
Yeah.
involved. I must give him credit for
I
that.
used to I used to love Bruno, but now I'm kind of
It's
it's
done.
gotten a little
The
time.
love affair is
Yeah,
over.
maybe it's the whole project right now. I'm
It's
ready for a
poisoned.
fresh start.
Mm.
All right, well let's move on, Brent. Let's take a look at game week 35. Hey, we've got a Friday match, don't we?
Mm.
Here, let me pull up the fixture, see when I can both take a look at them as we're
Yeah.
talking. Feels like it's been a while. So that actually does make things slightly more complicated, doesn't it, in terms of transfer decisions? Like, I mean, I feel like it was just a year or two ago where they announced double game week like minutes after the deadline. Like they were
Yeah.
like I presumably like holding it for them. I don't really know. I mean, on the
Yeah.
one hand, you're like, would they wait? And then on the other hand, it's like, well, the game is run to the Premier League's website, so sure, why not? Like, it's not like you
Yeah.
don't talk to each other.
It's to me, it's annoying that there is this advantage that you could have by holding and waiting for that announcement. On the other hand, There's really one team that I'm salivating over coming out of this weekend, and that's Wolves, who continue their form
Right.
and they have a good run in, but they are away at the Etihad in game week 35. So
Yeah.
it's almost kind of like I don't have to really consider my transfers or the doubles or the blanks this weekend. It feels, in
Yeah.
that sense, a good weekend to just roll
Yeah.
and
It's an
let
interesting
things play out, right?
Yeah, it's an interesting week. I have I do have Cunha because I didn't free hit it, so I am starting him for this match. I think he's
I
worth
would
starting
too,
if you have him. Yeah,
easily,
yeah.
easily.
So yeah, I'm actually. I guess I'm gonna have three players in that match. I have Marmouche, who seems completely cooked. I don't really, I don't know. I mean, he's playing okay. I don't know. It's just like
Got an
it's just
assist in the
yeah.
semifinal.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I'm just I guess I'm just irritated because he hasn't gotten fantasy turns in many, many weeks. And it
Uh-huh.
really it's funny how much you just take it for granted.
Uh-huh.
The like Holland style, just like metronomic,
Yeah.
like returns every week. And then you get like a more kind of garden variety forward type in Marmouche. And you're like, yeah, like this is really what it's like. Once every 4 weeks, you get something,
Yeah.
little run of
Where's the
form. Maybe they'll
juice?
string a couple weeks together.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the Man City Wolves game is pretty interesting. But again, I think it's useful to think of these fixtures through the lens of like what some teams have to play for and what they don't, right? So Man City Wolves, right? Wolves are a form team, and I don't see them as being on the beach, right? They're sort of they're playing well, and I don't see any reason for that to kind of abate. Whereas Man City are still somewhat fighting for a Champions League spot. It's not an absolute given, right, that they're locked into the Champions League, and so they have something to play for sure. It's a very stretched out game week, by the way. We have a match on Friday, match on Monday, 4 matches on Saturday, 4 matches on Sunday.
Yeah. Just
So
drop them all at the same time. I binge them.
yeah. Oh man, and that Sunday morning run is dreck. Good lord. Everton, Ipswich, Leicester, Southampton. If there was ever a time, Brandon, to I don't know, go see like an early movie. I don't know. Is there 10 a.m. showing of
Yeah.
Sinners that you can go see somewhere? I don't know. Uh,
Sinners time. This is becoming a Sinners podcast.
it
Did you
is.
catch this?
Yeah.
Ken Early on Second Captains was talking about things he would do to improve the Premier League. And he was like, there would only be one kickoff per day and only on Saturday or Sunday or Wednesday. And all teams would play at the same time.
Yeah.
It's just like, imagine how efficient your sports weekend would be. Is like
Well, this is yeah.
all your games get banged out in
Hey,
2 hours.
turns out the NFL figured this out, right? They've got
Let's
games
go
that
on for all day, every day, though, right?
well, they have games at 1 and games at 4, right? And then there's a couple and
Uh-huh.
there's like Sunday night, Monday night, and
Thursday
Thursday.
night.
Yeah, but I mean but they're
No,
fixed. They're
not having
totally
this.
fixed, right?
Okay.
Every
Okay.
Thursday, every Monday,
Yeah.
and then you got
True.
the games on Sunday. That's it. There's I guess like holiday, I don't know. Sometimes like now they're like adding Christmas Day. They are making it more complicated, sadly. But when I was a kid, it was just you basically just had the Sunday day the
Yeah.
games, and then you had Monday Night Football, and it was
All
it
right.
was it was very clean. You kind of knew what you were getting. It was the Premier League. Any week there might just not be a morning fixture. There might not be an afternoon
Yeah.
fixture. It's chaos. I saw you.
So
Yep.
where are you in terms of your engagement with the league after today, where
Hmm.
all three teams have been confirmed relegated? Liverpool confirmed champions. Obviously, there is
Yeah.
a horse race for top five, even like top eight, whatever European positions there are.
Yeah.
I do feel like there's going to be a catastrophic drop in interest after this
Well,
weekend.
I mean, it was already kind of settled, right? But I guess it wasn't officially settled. Well,
Yeah.
that's why I think it's useful to go through like who's got stuff to play for
Yeah.
at
Right.
all, right? So
Right.
let's
Right.
let's let's run through the fixtures, and that'll
Yeah.
just be kind of a different way for us to do this discussion.
Yeah.
So Villa, Fulham, pretty much on the beach at this point, I'd say, right? They
They'll tell
it's
you that they're running for Europe, but I don't. I
you've never
just
been
feel
you've
like,
never been a believer, and you've been fully validated in
listen,
your
the
your lack
Marco
of faith.
Silva project
Yeah.
is alive and well,
Hmm.
and it continues apace. And there have been vast improvements with Fulham this season, and I think
Yeah.
it'll be even better next season. But I just don't think they have it in them to push in the next 4 game weeks. So I, I wouldn't say they're on the beach, but I think that they're probably out of gas.
Yeah, I think that is true. I think that they're like they pushed this year's
I mean,
project.
the Southampton
They
game
need
was a
more.
miracle for them,
Yeah, yeah,
and that game kind of played out as I had predicted in terms of like they're going to be away from the cottage, and it's going to be a mixed bag of motivations, and they had to leave it till the death. And I mean, you can talk about Southampton being kind of motivated in terms of like pride
yeah.
and all that, and they're still possibly going to finish with the Derby County record of worst season ever. But
Yeah.
so if it took Fulham that amount of effort to get it over the line, I don't see them finishing strong here.
Well, I think it's yeah, and if you're the expert on Fulham and you're this down, then I think it's fair to say that the project
Yeah,
has run its course this season. Again, your words, not mine.
we'll be
But
back next
uh,
season though,
yeah,
stronger.
yeah, exactly. Another 12th place run, but but Villa have quite a lot
Yeah.
to play for. They're in seventh in the table. They are three back of a tie for fifth in the Champions League spot. Their goal differential is a problem, so they're probably really more like 4 points back. But still, you gotta even if they just make the Europa League, I think there's still it's still a big deal.
Yes,
And
it is.
so I think that they've got plenty to play for, and their form is actually pretty good if you look past the FA Cup. They've won
That
four of their last
yeah.
five Premier League
That
matches.
Newcastle fixture, I think, was very emblematic of where you should put Villa in your sort of like, heat map.
Yeah,
They've got a lot of goals in them.
yeah, and that the Man City match that they lost, I feel like it was quite late, right when Man City took the lead in that game,
Mhm.
right?
That's right.
So
Mhm.
they're really not much. Yeah, I don't know if that affected their FA Cup performance or not, but that was definitely a little bit of a stomach punch. So yeah, so there's something there. I guess transfer wise, I think you could still look at Villa as a possible place to go with your transfers. Everton, Ipswich, irrelevant. Don't get anyone in their fantasy players. There's not neither team have anything to play for. It's over. Leicester, Southampton, exactly the
Savage.
same. There's nothing there. Don't even like wait. Don't you? I'm not going to waste any more pod time on these
That
two. Just don't watch these games. That's how you talk about like engagement. You're doing
vote with
yourself
your
a
Nielsen
favor. Yeah,
box.
exactly. Like they've decided to spread this weekend out over four matches and give us
Yeah.
Everton, Ipswich, Leicester, Southampton, probably because there's some like TV rights thing where it's like, oh, we have to have Leicester on X number of times this
Well,
season or
none of
whatever,
these
right?
games will
It's
be
like
televised in England, at least. In
that's true.
this,
Well, maybe it's like an American. Who knows? I don't know. Whatever. I don't know
Leicester
how you end up
Southampton
with these
could
as the two
actually
matches.
finish -2, -1, which would be an interesting result, I think.
The actual score of that
Yeah,
match.
scoreline,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's true. That would be interesting. I'd love to see that actually.
Mhm.
Yeah, like
Goals in reverse.
yeah, maybe it's like fans ran on both pitches, and so both teams got a 3-0.
Points deductions.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. Points deductions. Yeah, exactly. I don't know how. Yeah, like they were watching it remotely on a big
I
screen at the
do
other
I
stadium.
have to
Yeah.
get this off my chest, though, like, going in on Leicester and Southampton garbage seasons. Ipswich, I feel like, Kieran McKenna has been getting away with it all season, right?
Oh, you're so harsh on these guys. Like, he has like nothing. Like that team has no talent. Like, I mean, like they're basically as talented as Leicester, and they have been much more fun to watch this season. And I feel
3
like
more
they've,
points. There's been a
but they're more entertaining. They've like I feel like they've been a more positive, interesting team. Like they have brought some fun to the Premier League this year. Whereas,
I think that's
basically,
overstated. I do. Certainly they have brought more than Leicester and Southampton.
yeah. Well,
Undeniable.
then there you go. So let's keep the negativity on
Okay,
those
fine.
two.
Yeah.
All right. So Arsenal, Bournemouth. Arsenal. I don't think they have anything to play for in the Premier League anymore.
No, they don't.
Uh,
They won't. They
I
they they barely showed up for that Crystal Palace match.
yeah. I
That was like a
yeah
blacktop basketball tournament, sort of like
yeah.
shooting up crazy 3 pointers
They almost
and
lost it. Like they kind of it was a part. They almost like they wanted to
when
maybe or like
Saliba,
yeah
yeah,
yeah
when Mateta scored that goal, it's just like this is not a. I mean, they
yeah.
could win the Champions League, and good on
Well,
them.
exactly. They could win the Champions League, and so all this stuff is irrelevant,
Yeah,
really. I mean,
right,
there's
right, right.
I think they could probably lose out and still get a Champions League spot.
Yeah,
I mean, there's 7 clear, but with a massive goal difference. More like 8 clear with 4 to play. Like they're completely fine. And so and they're also home. Like they'll probably win this match, even if they rotate a fair amount. So because this Bournemouth team is
Maybe.
just kind of I mean, they're not in full on free fall, but they've only won one match in their last 5. They're down to 10th, so Europe is kind of over for them. They're not going to have Evan Nilsson, right? And so it just
I mean,
I don't
they're a
know.
mirror image of Fulham. They're not a mirror image. They're in the
Kind of
same
same.
situation as Fulham,
Yep.
and I think that I say that in a hopeful sort of way, and that here is a club that is in a good flow, but
Yeah.
you have to accept sort of like your station, and it's going to
Yep.
take work to improve your station. It's going to take seasons. It's going to take years. Uh, not every club can just be like Wrexham, Josh, and just get like
I
promotion
know.
after promotion after
I can't
promotion.
believe it keeps working. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was just
I
thinking
mean
at some
that.
point it's like they're gonna have to at some point they're gonna sack Parkinson, right? And it's
Well,
gonna be
that
like a
yeah, you
crazy
could see like I
yeah.
thought the video of the afters with the Wrexham match this weekend, Parkinson's face, you could see it like it was written on his face of like the shocking, stunning relief on his face of like this is I feel like he knows this is as far as he can take that team, and
It's
the championship
wild.
is going like Wrexham could be at sea. It like I think it's good if Wrexham could just like float around the championship for years, and that they would be good for it.
That would actually be a good spot because the championship is, I think, even as an American, the championship to me is pretty relevant,
Oh,
right?
it's yeah,
Like
it's such a colorful league. It's
yeah,
great.
you can stream it on ESPN. It's like it's a very.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess you can you can find the other stuff, but it's like
yeah,
you're dipping into some of the murkier corners of the
yeah,
internet, right? If you're going to be consistently watching League One and League
yeah,
Two matches, whereas this championship is, there's a lot of famous players in it. It's a massive step up, I think, in terms of
yeah,
stature. So, and who knows? I mean, honestly, like given the quality of a Southampton type team, like no offense to their supporters, but like, I mean, that team is trash, right? Like, I mean, if a
yeah,
team that bad can
yeah.
can make it to the Premier League, then sure, Wrexham can do it too.
Yeah, for sure. They were talking about this on the Football Ramble this past week about like how the gulf from the championship promoted teams to established Premier League teams is wider than ever. And the last 2 seasons, it's been the 3 promoted teams go immediately back down, and it's kind of been just like a pumping up of a trend.
Yep.
And that goes into the whole what do these mid-table teams who are charging for European places have.
Yep.
And it's like it's kind of interesting how the Fulhams, the Brightons, the Bournemouths now it's a disappointing season that they haven't clinched a European position, and that's just how established all of these clubs are
Yeah.
now, and it's going to be impossible, possibly for championship clubs that get promoted to even compete at any level. All to say that Fulham, Bournemouth, Brighton, Brentford, even like they have all they're all could say they've had incredible seasons and
Yeah, that's
can
true.
build
And
on it. Yeah.
they're all like, but they've all been that promoted top club in the last few years, right? I mean,
Yes.
Bournemouth,
Yeah.
Bournemouth have gone through 2 cycles of it, right? The Eddie
Yes.
Howe Bournemouth was a lot of fun for a long time, and then the wheels fell off, and they came back.
Scott Parker.
Yeah, exactly. But then they came back, and now they're really positive, fun team.
Yeah, Gary.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
never forget what Gary O'Neill did for this Bournemouth side.
Yeah, exactly. And now he's actually gone from Wolves too, but he
He
yeah,
was sent to the shadow realm.
yeah, he's been helpful, I feel like. All right, so yes, I would probably avoid both of these clubs though with potential transfers. So Brentford, Man United. I mean, I really do. I mentioned this before, but looking at the captaincy options for this weekend, it's I think you're looking at Salah as the just kind of perm up option, right? But I think that I do think Mbomo, home to Man United club that'll played in Europe a couple of days before.
Yeah.
If the first European leg is at all close, then this shouldn't be a match that they take super seriously. I just think there's a chance that Brentford could get a result in this one.
Yeah.
Uh, I think that Newcastle, I think Isak would be another option. Just just because Brighton have been kind of shipping goals, right?
Hmm.
And there might be actually a little bit less pressure on him, right? Like less kind of defensive attention just because it's a away match. So maybe that helps him a little bit. Who am I missing? I mean, it's
In terms of captaincy
yeah, in terms
options,
of captaincy, obviously Salah too. But I don't
I,
know. Yeah,
yeah. Well, I guess Man City is a lot of people would have invested in Man City for their double, and then so it's just myself
yeah,
invested heavily in Man City ahead of the double and then free hit, and now I'm looking at my team for game week 35, and I've got triple City,
right,
and you think any home match for City is a captaincy option.
right.
De Bruyne, Marmoush, even Guardiola. But the problem is Wolves are in such good form, and I never trust City to keep a clean sheet. And I think you pointed out accurately that Marmoush is, he's not double-digit return potential here. So
Yep.
City are they're kind of like in the conversation, but not intriguing at all.
Yeah, and I mean, I having just tried it with Marmouche, I'm like,
Hmm.
I need a little bit of a break. I feel like there. So, all right. So yeah, so I think that I do think you can make an argument for Mbomo. I don't really have a lot to lose, and so that's part of the fun for me is just kind of
Yeah.
going for it with
Historically, Brentford score against Manchester United. Like, was
yeah,
it last season where it was like United were 2-0 up and then Brentford just humiliated them by scoring 2 goals at the death? And
yeah, I kind of forgot that. Yeah.
they love United at home or away. So I like that. I like that shout very much.
Yeah. Jared Bowen has been, I brought him in 2 weeks ago. I've gotten 9 points in back-to-back matches.
Hmm.
He's been great. Spurs have not. So I think that he would be another possible pick. Very, very under the
Yeah.
radar.
It was around like the 65th minute in the Liverpool Spurs match Sunday where it sort of dawned on me, like, my eyes, like, physically are not registering Spurs players on the pitch.
Yes, I know. I
Couldn't see
know.
them. Could
They
not see
they
them.
feel like a video game like generic or it's like it's like a like a kind of like a lower budget movie, where you've got the team that
Just
the
the
good guys are playing, it's like yeah.
yeah. Yeah, they're the Washington, who are the team that the Harlem Globetrotters always play?
Yeah, yeah, the Washington Generals. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. They kind of are, it's crazy. I mean, it's just such a weird like year with them. Like, I mean, yeah, they lost 4 to 5. Who did they beat? Oh, they beat Southampton. I mean, that doesn't even
Congratulations,
count.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like an exhibition match.
Slow
Yeah,
clap
I mean,
for Spurs, good
they're not a
job.
16th place. Like, it's crazy. Like, they're just
There was a
yeah,
point after when West Ham were up against Brighton and they blew it because,
yeah. They
congratulations, Graham
stink
Potter.
too. Yeah,
But
yeah.
it was Spurs and United in 16th and 17th place, and it was just like
God,
all hell breaking
I
loose in the
know.
table. So fun.
I know after all of this, Everton have a chance to overtake West Ham, Spurs, and Man United. And the Wolves are going to beat them all. Wolves are up to
It's
13th
just
now.
like
Like,
the table is a
yeah,
madhouse right now. I
it
love
is.
it.
Yeah. So you're asking me, like, I still feel pretty engaged with the
Good. Me
story.
too. Me too.
I mean, listen, if who won the title was like the determining factor every year, like most years
Yeah,
you're not
what's the
going to.
point? Yeah,
Yeah,
stop
yeah,
watching
exactly.
this league.
Always
There's nothing
something
here for you.
there's always something fun to
Yeah,
watch.
agreed.
So Brighton, Newcastle, Brighton, not very little to play for. Newcastle, obviously still fighting for a Champions League spot. They're up to third now. I mean, but obviously, they're just too clear of fifth, and so they're just playing so well. They're almost like kind of like a version of like Wolves, like where they're just like
Hmm.
they're just like in good form, and I expect them to just kind of roll through the last 4 weeks of the season. Um, and so I think, yeah, I feel like, yeah. So let's, but as far as Brighton go, I mean, I guess they are up to ninth. So, so there's 5 Champions League spots this year,
Hmm.
one Europe, and then in theory, or one Europa, and then in theory, if Man City win the FA Cup, would another European Europa League
I'm just
spot
kind of
go to?
operating under the assumption that it's going to be five places Champions League, sixth and seventh get Europa, and then eighth is probably Conference League.
All right, that's where Fulham is right now. So
Yeah,
there you go. I mean, as down as you've been on them, like I think there's still a chance.
yeah.
So, but so fighting with Brighton. So I don't know. Does Brighton feel especially motivated by going to like Bodo Glimt and not even Bodo Glimt's Europa League. They're by
Yeah,
going
yeah,
to
yeah. Spurs are playing Butterglump.
yeah, but whoever Chelsea are playing like whatever
Some
country that is.
godforsaken
Yeah,
Swedish team.
yeah, exactly. So let's see here. And then yeah, so West Ham Spurs, obviously nothing to play for on either side, but they can't get relegated, so it's like even worse in some ways. And then Chelsea Liverpool. I mean, this a match has actual stakes for
Yeah, it's
Chelsea. Like,
big. It's
yeah,
big.
it is. I mean, and defensively, like once again, they have been very strong defensively.
Yeah.
Nicholas Jackson back scored a goal, the
A
only goal in the
great goal
match.
too.
Yeah, I mean, I somehow missed that he was like back and getting minutes again. Like,
Yeah.
has he start? Was this has he had
I
other
think he's been
starts?
back for
Like,
like
has
two
he?
or three
Okay,
weeks.
yeah, I don't know why. Maybe I've just been a little checked on him in general, and so
Yeah, I
yeah,
would say on Chelsea's clean sheet over the weekend that Sanchez was called upon to make some terrific saves,
yep, yep,
and that's not something he's gonna do every every weekend.
right, right,
So yeah, I think that the problem is the narrative could go one of two ways. It could either go Liverpool are just super high on their own supply. They're
right,
champions and they just go roll
yeah,
Chelsea because they're a weaker team and they don't have a great defense. Or it is a on the beach Liverpool who have
yeah,
partied a little too hard and Chelsea have a lot of motivation to finish in Europe and
yeah.
there you have it. I don't know which way it goes.
I don't.
I tend to favor Liverpool here.
Well, I guess I favor them too, just because I think they're better. But I don't. I mean, they are better, but I don't see this as a high scoring match. I guess is what it comes down to for me. I mean, I know that's not necessarily the question that we're
Mhm.
talking about in terms of
Well,
like
it is. It's kinda
motivation,
like
but
fantasy potential, right?
right.
So it is.
Yeah, so I would avoid either club when it came to transfers this week,
Okay,
certainly.
yeah.
Feels like a good week to hold your transfer, honestly, if you can do it.
Yeah, yeah,
But I think it goes back to the Salah thing where I just
yeah.
this to me it feels like it could be like a 1-1, right? That feels like the
Yeah.
right range.
It really is the main question is what's in it for Salah in
Yeah.
this match, and then compared to the rest of the field.
Yeah,
It's funny, I
where
agree
are we
with
in the Golden Boot race? Like, do we
Salah has 28 goals, and the next closest is Isak with 22 goals.
oh, so there's I mean,
It's
it's
done.
kind of over. Maybe he wants to play for 30 or something, but I don't know.
I think
Yeah.
yeah, and Salah, he says this in interviews all the time. He's just always thinking about his stats.
Yeah.
And what's
Well, he's
remarkable about him is that
well,
doesn't
I
yeah.
mean, what is the assist record again? Isn't it 19? Am I wrong about that? What is the
Mm,
Premier League?
might be somewhere between De Bruyne, Ozil, and
I thought
Henri.
I thought it was Henri. Yeah. Uh,
19 sounds right to me. Yeah, you look it up.
It's 20. Okay, so 20 achieved by Henri and Kevin De Bruyne in the De Bruyne did the 1920 season. So,
Uh-huh.
so Salah's two away from that. So I almost think that would be a bigger motivator
Sure,
to
Golden
decide the
Boot. Yeah, and
yeah.
this has been a huge part of his game. He's like
Yeah.
always looking for his
Yeah.
teammates.
Yeah, I mean 30 goals and 20 assists. If he finished on that, that'd be amazing.
It would be.
I think I was on those I'd rest in game week 38. Like, just to finish if he's so elegant to finish with those two numbers.
Yeah.
All right. So okay, let me finish up here then with the motivation thing. So then Palace Forest, as we talked about, Palace very little to play for in the Premier League, and they have the FA Cup final upcoming. So
Yeah.
they have they don't have a lot to play for in terms of transfer. So even with this double, it's game like 36/37 doubles are really tricky ones because as we just talked about, like maybe less than 10 teams have something to really play for it on the stretch here.
Mhm.
So it's not the kind of double game week where you really want to be, you know, burning in -12 in order to load up on doublers, for example, right? Because you just kind of don't know what your
Sure.
kind of rotation you're going to see, what you're going to get.
And Palace were a nightmare the last double game week.
Yeah.
Mateta played like a total of 90 minutes in that potential of 180 minutes, and Glasner will rotate the hell out of this
Yeah.
squad ahead of the
Yeah.
final. So I'm with you. I'm
Yeah,
with you.
as he should, you know. So,
Sure.
and then Forest, yeah, I mean for Forest, the big test is whether they can hang on
Mm.
to a Champions League spot.
It has become remarkably difficult for
I
them.
know, and this is the one you were right on Fulham and how they had no chance, but I was right on Forest,
Okay. Yeah.
and I thought that the free fall was happening. You thought it was
Yeah,
the
I
little
did think
doubt.
that there was no doubt, and now they're in sixth, and they're coming up against a tough opponent in Brentford to even hang on to that.
Yeah,
So
yeah, game in
it's
hand. So yeah, that's
but
so
that's
we'll
it's
see.
again
Yeah,
going back to my point about the Bournemouths, Fulhams, Brightons of the league. If Forest end up finishing in the Europa League places, from them finishing in 17th place last season, this is magnificent. It's
yes.
still magnificent. It's just made that much harder by them being so high for so long.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
it's
but it was really they only kind of got there like at mid-season, and you know what I mean. It was
yeah.
like sort of a so, and so much of that I feel like was just driven by Patrick Kluivert and his kind of amazing run of good form, um, and penalty kicks for that matter. So all right, so let me see here. We talked through leisure rules. Had some questions for us about the running. We covered that. Let's end here with one question, Brandon. This is from
Yeah.
Sam C. He says, "I somehow still have my assistant manager left. Any thoughts on who you'd go for? Probably fired it off in 36, unless there's a strong reason to go earlier. So let me pull up just for you to look at, and for both of us
Okay.
to look at as we're
Please.
talking here. The old. Oh, by the way, have you noticed they finally, after many years, introduced green.
It's a
Uh,
disgustingly dark forest green color. I
yeah,
don't like
oh,
it.
it's like Michigan State green. You don't think it's like a
Well,
here's a
it's a nice
Kelly
color,
green?
but
Yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't fit within the palette of
Right.
the Premier League.
I
So
guess
I
that's
guess
true. But they've never used the one before, and so I enjoyed seeing that.
yeah.
You know, and so we have. So yeah, you clearly want to. But the thing is, if you're just activated it now, you're going to cross over into the doubles no matter what, right? Either way,
Yeah.
you know, I guess unless you wait until 37. So yeah, do you play it this week or next week? Basically, would be the question. Is there one fixture that's so good this week that I would definitely recommend playing it?
No, I
Yeah,
think it's just all about the adrenaline and the juice, and you have to play it in game week 36. Just make the run in like just
yeah,
super hard.
yeah. I guess yeah. If the question then, yeah, if you had any other chips, that would be the other thing to consider as
I mean,
well,
like the
right? Yeah,
bankable fixtures would be v Southampton or v Leicester, and the problem is they're playing
play
each
each
other.
other. Yeah, yeah. Maybe throw Ipswich in there too, but they're playing Everton, right? So, I mean, I guess honestly, like
Play oh yeah, so there it is. David
Everton,
Moyes
yeah,
is Ipswich, Fulham, Southampton to talk over you, but I think that's it.
yeah, and Fulham, I don't know if Fulham would still qualify as a table bonus or not. They might be five slots
I
ahead of
think they
them.
are.
Yeah, so that's something too. And or you could just switch to
Yeah,
a double
Everton are
game week
15th
team.
and Fulham are 8th,
Oh
so
yeah, so
I think that
that's yeah, so definitely.
I like that Moyes in if you feel compelled to play it now, Moyes,
Yeah.
just imagine that wrinkled old man on your
I
fantasy
know.
squad.
I know.
What a time. What a
The
time to be
old,
alive.
yeah, exactly. So, yeah, but I think if you, yeah, going with, yeah, Moyes for Ipswich and Southampton, that seems like, I mean, they're going to win both those games, I feel like, and, you know, possibly keep a clean sheet in both them as well.
Yeah, they've not they like Everton struggle to score. Like Beto has
Yeah.
been awful,
Yeah.
but they
Yeah.
are intensely organized. And Pickford, like I don't know, this is not really a hot take, but Pickford's the best keeper in the Premier League, bar none, in my
Wow.
opinion.
Uh, you think he's
Maybe
better than,
Allison.
yeah, Allison and Ederson would both
Ederson has
be up
not been
there.
good this
Yeah,
season.
you're right. Okay. Okay. You're right. Okay. So we'll table Ederson.
It's Allison versus Pickford.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, it has not necessarily been
I don't think Ray is in the
Emmy
conversation.
Emmy Martinez hasn't necessarily had the best
Uh,
season. Um,
Raya gets completely conned by
yeah.
set pieces on the
Yeah,
regular.
I'm not prepared for this conversation,
Okay,
but I
we
think
don't have to have it. We don't have to
yeah, but
have
I
it.
think I think I would probably put Allison first, and then I'm
Yeah.
definitely willing to entertain
Okay.
Pickford
Good. Good.
second.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
we're on the same page. Yeah.
Yeah, starting keeper for England. I mean, he's a solid. He's
Yeah. I
very
guess
good.
it's
Yeah, yeah,
no. There's he doesn't have a lot of There's it's not a controversial opinion.
yeah. Exactly. We don't have our boy. Oh my gosh, who is the old Leicester keeper that I used to love? Casper Schmeichel. We don't have Casper anymore. Used to love
No.
that guy. He disappeared too. He kind of Will Zaha it. We need to do a
He went to
like
like the League On, I think
yeah.
he was, or yeah.
We need to run like an all-star team sometime of people who like left weirdly. Like it's like a like they had Eden Hazard sort of falls in this category too, whereas like he sort of like they're like big like big brands, big
Uh-huh.
properties in the Premier League, and then suddenly they're just gone, and that's kind of it. You just never hear from them again, and
Oh,
like I
he's at
mean,
Celtic now. Schmeichel is. He left Leicester to go to
yeah,
Nice. Then he
right.
was briefly at Anderlecht, and
Yeah.
ended up.
Did
Celtic
Hazard
is.
did Hazard retire? Is he still like even playing in the Premier? Like
Oh
in
yeah,
like
you haven't listened to Hazard's new album on Spotify?
no, I have not.
I'm just kidding. Like, surely this guy's making professional music now. Let's
Yeah,
see. He's retired. He
he,
left
he
Madrid
did.
and at the end of 2023, so it seems like he's retired.
Yeah, that's it. Wow. It's kind of interesting. Like I didn't know he just
Eden
retired.
Michael Walter Hazard. Would not have
Wow.
picked those two middle names.
No, and really did not work out for him at Real Madrid, did it?
It certainly did. I mean,
Yeah,
monetarily, I think it did, but that's
that's
fine.
true. That's true. Yeah, kind of like Gareth Bale. I remember when Bale came back.
He won
So
Champions
funny.
Leagues. Yeah, Gareth Bale won. He
That's
won
true. He scored a goal in the
trophies.
Champions League final. Yeah, what can you say?
I think
He was
he's
never
doing
that
all.
good for them, though. All
I
right,
think he was very good for them.
for a while, for like a year or
Look
two.
up Gareth Bale Real Madrid highlights,
Okay,
and
all right.
you'll
Well,
find a like
they were
30-minute
they were
video.
they couldn't give him away at the end, though.
Sure,
So
he
yeah,
ended.
yeah.
It ended very
It
badly.
ended. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. He was always a little injury prone, though, wasn't he? All right, so let's wrap up things there. Thank you everyone for listening. Again, lots to come over the next few days. We'll try to cover double game week announcements and news. Should we have them on the Patreon pod on Thursday? So once again, if you want to support the pod, you can go to patreon.com/always cheating. Brandon, you want to thank our producer patrons?
Oh, I love it. If you would like to support us at the highest tier, you get this shout out, much like these guys and gals. Producers Mike DePietro, Trevor Ingerson, Dave Wagner Lodahl, our buddy Chris Howell, Andy Penn, Nick Wright, Lazarus Janos, Jesse Halstead, Brian Chin, Bob Ascoon, Blair Jacobson, Todd Byerly, Andy Portlock, Dan Parsons, Terrence O'Donnell, Kerry Swanson, Jefferson Turner, as he does it, Francis Moore, Sam Shower, Craig Jackson, Caleb Robbie, Brian Clark, Thomas Tislov, Fro Jacobson, Gareth H., Shalin F. Kadaki, Rishi Nigam, Noah and Louise, Travis Grant, Linus Vennerstrom, Matthew Skinner, Ben Coombs, Eric Kite, Rune Sandberg, the three Jims, James Murray Wood, James C., and James Holland, Scully, Craig at Total Mass Tutoring, and Francis Mann. Rate, review, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us wherever you get social media. And Josh, 4 more game weeks. All right.
Final
What?
stretch, the final countdown.
Yeah. What? Yeah. What are you feeling? How are you feeling right now as far as your
Keep
season?
asking me this.
Well,
I don't know how I don't know how I
well,
feel.
not
I'm
how you feel about the season. It's just like now
oh
gut check time. Gut check time.
well, I guess I feel like I am like about my own team. I don't
Yeah,
know what you're
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah,
No.
I'm trying to zero in on just you're not even talking to the audience right now. I want to know what
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like to be in your den thinking about your
Well,
fantasy team.
well, I mean, I it just depends on,
Are you
how you
sharpening your
what
blades right
depends
now?
on what context you put it in. I mean, I think
Okay.
I mean, I'm at 400K, which is so it'll be like one of my worst ever finishes, kind of no matter what happens. But within the context of the season, I am happy with the way that I righted the ship,
Okay, good.
and I'm sort of in the like, I'm sort of in the like self-respect mode
Mhm.
where I'm like, all right,
Mhm.
let me just try to do as well as I possibly can down the stretch to, for my own kind of
Yeah.
sense of competitiveness and fair play or whatever, right? It's like you
Yeah.
want to like it's like a team that's like you're not going to make the playoffs, in other sports, but you still want to go out there and I don't know, you still
Do it
you're
for the Gipper?
yeah, exactly. I was like, I don't have fans exactly, but it's like just do it for myself, yeah, do it for
No,
me.
that's
Yeah,
exactly what I was fishing for, and I think that
yeah.
is what, like 99% 90% of fantasy managers will be feeling right now
Yeah.
is just grasping for a handful of game weeks that make them feel that way.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah, so
it's my goal too,
it's something to watch
honestly.
when the especially when the Premier League is kind of all done and dusted, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a thing to keep it going. So,
Here, here.
all right. Well, cheers. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll be back next week. Bye.